Curly, Wurly and the Whale Watchers. It was an exciting day in Barracuda Bay. Mr. Ray, the harbour master, was taking his children, Rachel and Riley, on a whale watching trip. At the harbour, Mr. Ray was getting his boat, the Jumping Jellyfish, ready for the journey. Mrs. Ray, meanwhile, had made everyone a lovely big picnic, including crab cakes, Mr. Ray's favourite. "Come on, you two," called Mr. Ray. He was eager to get out to sea. But just before they left the harbour, somebody came running down the quay. It was Mr. Lobster, the lighthouse keeper. "Charlie, Charlie, wait," he shouted. "Everything okay?" asked Mr. Ray. "Here, take this with you." And Mr. Lobster handed over his camera. "Don't forget to take lots of photos," he said. Mr. Lobster was feeling rather sad that he wasn't going whale watching with them. Then he whispered something to Riley and Rachel. "Look out for orca. They often hunt around Albatross Island and in the waters close to the Barracuda Trench," he said. "We promise to take lots of photos and we will look out for the orca," replied Rachel excitedly. Mr. Lobster waved as the Jumping Jellyfish sailed out of the harbour. Mr. Ray sailed the Jumping Jellyfish out towards Albatross Island. Riley was taking some photos of the seabirds nesting amongst the rocks, whilst Rachel was looking for any signs of whales close by. There wasn't any whales, but Mr. Ray did spot some dolphins swimming up ahead. They were chasing a huge shoal of mackerel. Mr. Ray decided to follow them. He knew that if the dolphins caught up with the fish, then the whales wouldn't be far behind. Meanwhile, up in the sky, some of the albatross were joining in the chase. The race to catch up with the fish was on. "Hurry, Dad, hurry!" cheered Riley and Rachel. Eventually, Mr. Ray and the Jumping Jellyfish caught up with the giant shoal and watched on as the dolphins and the albatross snacked on the panicking mackerel. It was a feeding frenzy. Amazing! Riley took photos of the dolphins on the hunt. He also took some photos of the diving albatross arrowing into the water from a great height. "If only Mr. Lobster was here," said Rachel. "He would love this." Both Riley and Mr. Ray agreed. But despite all of the excitement, nobody had seen a single whale, and Riley put the camera back into his pocket. Until a few moments later, when Mr. Ray spotted a big dorsal fin approaching in the water close to the boat. "Rachel, Riley, look to your left," he said. "It's an orca," shouted Rachel. Then Riley spotted 4 more fins coming towards them. "It's a family," he said, and quickly took out the camera from his pocket. But in his excitement, Riley dropped the camera into the water. "Oh no! Disaster!" What was Mr. Lobster going to say? Just then, Rachel and Riley could hear a familiar voice coming from up above, high in the sky. Don't panic, I'll get it, I'll get it." It was Mr. Lobster. He was flying in Curly, who quickly lowered him down and into the water below. Wurly was watching on too. He was feeling very nervous. Dressed in his diving suit, Mr. Lobster swam under the water to retrieve his camera. He soon returned to the surface, holding his prized possession. "It's a good job it's an underwater camera," he laughed. Just then, the pod of orca swam by. Mr. Lobster had never seen a killer whale up close before. This was a chance to get some spectacular pictures of one of the ocean's top predators. So Mr. Lobster swam down and followed the orca family as they approached the shoal of mackerel. The dolphin soon scarpered as the pod of orca approached. Then something rather extraordinary happened. Some of the orca swam underneath the shoal and began to bash the fish with their tails to stun their prey. The injured fish were quickly picked off by the hungry killers, as Mr. Lobster recorded it all on his camera. Incredible! What a lucky man that Mr. Lobster is. The mackerel tried to escape by swimming down into deeper water, evading their ever-hungry enemies surrounding them. And after catching as much fish as they could, the orca moved on, beyond the Barracuda Trench and far out to sea. Curly and Wurly got a fantastic view of them feeding on the fish, from up in the sky. "That was amazing," smiled Curly. Soon Wurly could see some bubbles bubbling up on the surface. "Look out!" he shouted, but it was only Mr. Lobster. "Did you see them feeding?" asked Mr. Ray. "Yes, I did," replied Mr. Lobster happily. "They are some very intelligent creatures. I'd never mess with an orca, especially when they are hungry. Those poor mackerel didn't stand a chance." Mr. Lobster scrambled back on board the Jumping Jellyfish and told Mr. Ray and his children all about his latest underwater adventure. But that was not the end. As Mr. Ray turned back home for Barracuda Bay, he spotted a small eruption of water sprouting up from the surface of the water. Mr. Lobster heard the sound and grabbed a pair of binoculars to get a closer look. "Can you see anything, Charlie?" asked the lighthouse keeper. "No, I can't. We're too far away." Mr. Lobster had an idea. He was always full of fantastic ideas. "Curly and Wurly, we need your help," he said. "Can you fly ahead and see if you can spot what or who is making that spouting water shooting up into the air?" "Of course we can," replied the two planes, and off they set in search of the mysterious water-spouting creature. Mr. Ray and everyone on board the jumping jellyfish followed as quickly as they could. Up ahead, Curly and Wurly had found who they were looking for. The spouting water wasn't small at all. It was enormous, falling out of the sky like a giant waterfall. It was coming from an extraordinary animal, one so rare it had never been seen in Barracuda Bay before. But what was it? I can't say any more, otherwise I shall spoil the next story. I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you again next time.